It's time for the truth, and you found the home of it right here.
He wants the white suburbs to be terrified of Black Lives Matter and to think that it's some sort of revolution against the police, etc.
It's time to giddy up. Let's do this, Chicago. Let's make the Census Cowboy proud.
But we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. The Minneapolis Police Department is rotten. So when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer.
Here's your truth-telling, freedom-loving, flag-waving host, John James.
Oh, boy. You know, we aren't angry. They're so angry. It's too bad it's an us and them, but it is. I mean, it definitely is. Welcome to the Pep Rally for Freedom. Hi, Tom. How are you, my friend? I want to see you again, buddy. He's in Arizona now. Sailor named Tom, a Maine radio broadcast legend. He moved to Arizona, which is a very free state. It's a very free state. A lot of people from California, in fact, are moving to Arizona to get away from the high taxes, the suppressive and oppressive government. And except for the heat all the time, I might consider it. I like Maine, though. I do. I love mornings like this, don't you? It's a little chilly. I do admit that. It's a little chilly out this morning, but it's not unbearable. Not like it will be in the near future. That's for sure. Right now I am figuring out this new, if you're on Facebook this morning on the computer, not on your phone, but on the computer, you notice they have overnight, they made some huge changes to the layout, and I'm sure it's going to be like always. People are going to be, oh, why did they go change it? I hate this. Well, give it a chance now. Give it a chance. I don't know if I like it or not. Good morning, Lisa. Hi, Dottie. Casey, welcome to the show. I don't know if I like it or not. It seems okay. I don't mind it so far. It's just something new. People don't like change. I get that. I'm not one who really embraces change either, but I know it's a fact of life. We can't get away from change. Why do they have to go change everything? I think about the way things were when I was a kid and how much I loved it back then and how I thought they were simpler times. And back when I was a kid, my father was saying, oh, why'd they go change everything? When I was a kid, it was simpler times. What's going on now, though? I don't know. How much more complicated can times get than they are right now? Really, this is absolutely a mess that we've got going on now in America and in Maine. Now the MPA said no football, no volleyball this fall. Why? Why are we being oppressed? I know, I get it. The COVID-19, they're being ultra safe. Is it just that? Or is it control? I mean, it's not wrong to ask that. And they'll never say it's control. But tyrannical leaders never do. They never do. They bring things on incrementally, slowly, so you don't even notice the changes. And then before you know it, it becomes normal. And we accept it. Well, we can't accept it. We can't accept much more, I'll say that. Not and be quiet about it. I'm not being quiet about it. You shouldn't either. We just make the case, and we all have to be the voice. I just bring you facts. I bring you information. I bring you truth. And we all have to be the voice. I mean, just listening to the radio, and I mean, we all listen to different radio shows. We watch different TV news stories. I say we all, a lot of us don't even pay any attention to the news. I don't mean the people listening to this show. I mean, most of the people out there, they could care. They're more upset that the Kardashians are going off the air. You know? And everybody's talking about this Cuties on Netflix, which I will get to. Here, the media defending Cuties. Because now, I don't know if you've noticed, but, and this is something else that's creeping too, that's very, very unnerving to me. Pedophilia is becoming more acceptable. It is becoming something that is defended by the media. I mean, where are we? What is going on? I don't understand it for the life of me. California just adopted a new law, which Gavin Newsom signed while all the fires are going on and everybody's watching out for their own property and their own lives. In the dark of night, Friday night, Gavin Newsom signed into law a bill that now allows for a judge to decide whether or not to put a pedophile on a sexual predator list on the, you know, similar to the thing we have in Maine. Because they feel it'll be more fair to gay pedophiles. I'm not making this up. Look it up. It makes it a more even playing field. So apparently, as long in California now, as long as the perpetrator is no older than 24, they may not get put on a sex offender registry if their victim is at least 14. And they say that's more fair to the LGBTQ community. Not making it up. You can look it up. We talked about it yesterday. And now we have Cuties, which is pedophilia, being celebrated. Just do you remember the kid? I think a year or two ago. Maybe it was last year, I think. And there was this 12-year-old boy who dressed in drag. And you can find this too. This is stuff that's just coming to me as we're talking about this. I don't have anything prepared to prove what I'm saying right now, but you can look it up. I'm not making it up. You probably remember the story. So this 12-year-old boy was in drag, and the parents were allowing him to be sent out to a gay bar and dance seductively on stage in drag for people in this gay bar. And the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie and company, were celebrating it. So, where is the moral compass going in this country? Am I wrong about this? Or do you embrace pedophilia? Just a question. So, we'll get to Cuties here in a minute, the Netflix movie, which I have not seen. I should at least familiarize myself a little bit more with it. I've seen some stills. But that's one of those things, if you watch it, you sure as hell don't want to admit it. So what kind of a movie is that? That you know, it's like watching, you know, you watch porn on TV or on TV, on the movie screen, on the 8mm movie screen. No, I'm sorry, I've got to get up to date. Unlike Joe Biden, who thinks that people still use record players. So people watch porn on their computers, on the pay-per-view. They still sell adult films, I guess. There's an adult section on the TV there, huh? On the Spectrum, there's you have adults in it. I guess they have a selection of services and movies you can subscribe to. I checked that out one time or twice or maybe 100 times, and they sell movies on there for like a porn movie, and of course there is absolutely no plot whatsoever to any of these movies. For like the last I checked, they were like between 10 and $15. What? Really? I mean, just go to the computer if you're that. Who supports these services? I don't even know if it's still a thing on there. But it's not something you want to admit. I go home and I watch porn for 3 hours a night. I went home last night and I watched Cuties. Oh, it was hot. So if you're embarrassed to tell anybody you watched it, then you know it probably isn't right to be watching it in the first place. I'm not lecturing you. I mean, everybody has watched porn. Nobody will admit it probably. Oh, boy, years ago, we put up the screen, and I remember this. I actually remember this. A friend of mine named Tom, who I lost track of, I worked with him at Service Master in Augusta years ago, but I was just a 16-year-old kid, and so we go over to his house, a bunch of guys, and here I am, a 16-year-old kid, and he sets up a movie screen and a projector, and I don't even know what the movie was. It was just some pornographic thing. And it was like, so, okay, this is cool, I guess. But anyway, now we're not talking about adult porn is one thing. You have porn stars, and they have their place in the world. People watch porn. They have strip clubs. You go watch the strippers. But now you're talking preteen girls in Cuties. And we'll talk about it in just a minute. I'll tell you about some of the media that is now saying, hey, this is great. This is good stuff. Yeah, Cuties, go Cuties. And you have to wonder, don't you? What's next? What will be justified next as we go down this slippery slope? Because everything is done in increments. That's how things work. That's how gun control will work if Joe Biden is elected. This is how pedophilia is working in California. Now, a 24-year-old and a 14-year-old, same sex or opposite sex, may not be subject to the sex offender registry because it's more fair. Again, I ask you, where are we? We are lost as a society. The rest of the world must be. I mean, you look at how they treat people in China, in Iran. I mean, if you're gay in Iran, you may be murdered. If you're a Christian or a Muslim in China, you may be murdered. You may be sent to re-education camps. Yet the Chinese are celebrated. The Bidens love China because money. The NBA loves China because money. They throw all their virtue signaling out when it comes to China. Here in America, it's, well, you can't say anything bad about Muslims. You can say bad things about Christians and Jews all you want, but not about Muslims. You can't make fun of any group because that's not right. That's not human rights. Yet in China, we can embrace China if they're giving us bucks, giving us money, and they don't recognize any human rights that don't conform to their ideology. How is that not the most hypocritical thing ever? People are blind. The woke people are sound asleep. The sound asleep people, that's us, supposedly, we're wide awake. And we ain't going to take much more of it, are we? 9:30, let's take a look at history. This is the 15th of September. Here is the Associated Press.
And they died in Birmingham.
September 15th, 1963. In Birmingham, Alabama, a tragedy that galvanizes America's civil rights movement. 4 black girls are killed when a bomb explodes during Sunday services at the 16th Street Baptist Church. 3 Ku Klux Klansmen are eventually convicted for their roles in the blast. 2005, weeks after Hurricane Katrina slams into the Gulf Coast, President George W. Bush speaks from storm-ravaged New Orleans. He acknowledges Washington's failures in responding adequately to the disaster and urges Congress to approve a massive reconstruction program.
When the federal government fails to meet such an obligation, I, as president, am responsible for the problem and for the solution.
1935. Nazi Germany enacts the Nuremberg Laws, depriving German Jews of their citizenship. The laws, which also adopt the swastika as Germany's official symbol, are a major step on the road to the Holocaust. 1950. During the Korean War, American-led forces under the United Nations banner stage a daring landing at Incheon. The amphibious assault behind enemy lines leads to the liberation of South Korea's capital, Seoul, from the communist north. 1776. British forces occupy New York during the American Revolution. They remain for the next 7 years until the United States achieves its independence. 1890. Agatha Christie, the mystery writer whose works include Murder on the Orient Express, is born in Torquay, Devon, England. And 1946.
We all have a violent demon. All of us. I mean, some more receded than others, but it's there.
Oliver Stone, movie director and screenwriter, is born in New York City. Among his films, Platoon, JFK, Natural Born Killers, and Born on the 4th of July. Today in History, September 15th. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
Hey, there we go. Welcome back. 9:33 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Oh, thank you for the cow, Casey. Very, very nice. Look in the comments section under the broadcast today on my page. Casey has pictured a cow with long flowing blonde hair, a Holstein cow with long flowing hair. It says, "Good morning." I don't know, it just made me laugh. Good morning, sunshine. Thank you, Lisa. Good morning to you, sunshine. Thank you. And Angela, welcome to the show. And oh boy, getting a lot of comments from you, Angela. Thank you very much for those. I'll check those out later. I probably won't have time to. Probably won't have time to during the show here this morning. So Cuties, what's up with Cuties? Now, what a great movie, huh? That's what the media is saying. Well, depending on what media you look to, several big-name publications are defending Netflix and its hypersexualization of little girls. And there are actually people out there who are still ambivalent when it comes to calling the media the enemy of the people. What is this hypocrisy? Outlets like Rolling Stones, the Los Angeles Times, the Telegraph, the New Yorker defend the film as worth seeing and a nice coming-of-age story, and condemned critics as crazies from the right wing who are afraid of child sexuality. Okay. I'm not saying this. These are your media. Now, it was last month that a Netflix movie from France called Cuties in English, featuring sexualized young girls, debuted on the platform. Controversy ensued when uncomfortable folks appalled at seeing the film's promo material featuring preteens in skimpy outfits got a hold of an early review from Screen Daily of the French film, which claimed it contained scenes of twerking preteen bodies. Little disturbing, you think? The review attempted to justify the scenes as teaching a moral lesson. It claimed, first of all, I'd like to know, who are the parents of these young actresses? Where are the parents of these young actresses? The review attempted to justify the scenes as teaching a moral lesson, claiming the scenes were explicitly designed to shock mature audiences into a contemplation of today's destruction of innocence. They can justify anything. You know, depending on how you assemble the words, you literally can justify most anything. They don't do a good job. They didn't assemble the words. I don't know how you could assemble any words in such a way as to justify this kind of a film. But they attempted it. This is from Newsbusters. Most people, especially normal people who love their children, were appalled that the movie would even feature hypersexualized twerking girls to prove a point about hypersexualized twerking girls. What was stranger was that the review went so far as to call Cuties a film for and about kids. For kids? So you're supposed to sit there with your children watching twerking young girls with Junior at your side. Wow. MRC, that's a Media Research Center, part of Newsbusters. MRC's Culture's Elise Earhart put it a little more precisely, calling Cuties a film for predators and groomers. That's a little more accurate. But of course, that's coming from an evil, religious, conservative reviewer. They're not the only ones that's tone deaf. Netflix. Disney. Have you heard the latest about Disney? We're talking about China. Let's talk about China and Disney here. This is tone deaf. Disney has been working, according to PJ Media, hand in glove with those who run Uyghur concentration camps in Xinjiang, which is a province where numerous human rights violations have been cataloged. Now, do you know who the Uyghurs are? Have you heard of the Uyghurs? Uyghurs are a sect of Muslims, people who practice Islam. Well, they have sent these people to literal concentration camps for re-education and God knows what else, what other human rights atrocities. This is the company the NBA and the leftist politicians love, that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, who have made billions off China, love and promote and side with. The people who are all about human rights and the decency and the spark of divinity in all human beings, says Nancy Pelosi. Well, what about the human beings in China? What about the Uyghurs being sent to concentration camps, maybe killed? They're being re-educated. If they can't be re-educated, I'm sure they're killed. Oh, but it's China. China's part of the New World Order. We can't get mad at China. They're nice people. And I'm not talking about, listen to me here. Listen to me here. I know people, well, you don't like the Chinese. You're a xenophobe. I love the Chinese people. It's the few Chinese tyrants who are the problem. It's not the Chinese people putting these people in concentration camps and re-education camps. That also goes for Christians and Jews. They are hostile against religion because they think it brings in too much Western influence. They're hostile. And who knows what atrocities they perform. But human rights, they don't matter in China. We love China. Hong Kong, oh, they love them. Hong Kong, they love America. We side with China. Hong Kong, and this is the NBA. Do you remember the NBA coach or whatever he was? I'm not a big sports guy. I'll be honest with you on that. So I can't remember the guy's name, but he actually came out and supported the Chinese, the Hong Kong freedom fighters who were just trying to keep their autonomy from the mainland, China. China doesn't like that. They're putting their thumbs down while the Hong Kong people are running around with American flags, singing the national anthem. So who does the rest of the NBA side with? LeBron James and all of those losers in the NBA, which you probably still watch. You shouldn't. They side with China over Hong Kong because China gives them money. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. That's what it's all about. From Joe Biden to Hunter Biden to the U.S. government to the NBA to whoever else benefits from Chinese wealth. It's all about communists. We love communist China. We'll do anything for communist China. We'll even waive tariffs for communist China. We'll even demean freedom fighters in Hong Kong for communist China. We'll even encourage the president not to pull out of the World Health Organization for communist China, because communist China gives us things, and we like to live high on the hog here, while our peasants, the rest of Americans, live however they can afford to. Because you know what? They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about power and themselves. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump here. No, look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at Chuck Schumer. Look at AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and the rest of them. The rest of the leftist progressives. They want us to be more like China. Ilhan Omar wants us to be more like Somalia. Go figure. So here's where Disney comes in. More than 1 million, let me tell you, more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims have been incarcerated in terrible conditions. The Walt Disney film Mulan gave thanks in its credits to the very same Turpin Public Security Bureau that human rights groups say manages construction of the camps and hiring police to staff them. Disney says, thank you. Oh, thank you for participating in our film. Activists had called for boycotts of the film even before the revelation. Chinese-American actress Liu Yifei, who stars in the live-action remake of the 1998 animated film, tweeted out her support for the Hong Kong police who were beating up pro-democracy protesters and enforcing China's crackdown. She backed off that support, claiming she was ignorant of the politics. However, Disney's even mentioning the jailers of 1 million people in a positive light kind of makes you wonder if they would have thanked the German Ministry of Films if a movie was made in Hitler's Germany. Follow the money. Follow the money. They will sell our souls for money and power. Don't forget that. In fact, now you really need to know that more than ever before.
pocket. $1 million from a program she criticized and an illegal corporate PAC scam. No wonder Sarah Gideon's become known as a PPP, a pretty pathetic politician. Sarah Gideon's hypocrisy just doesn't work for Maine. Say no to Sarah Gideon. Senate Leadership Fund, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
All right, we're back. And we're having a problem with the video feed. All right, I think we're good now. I don't know what caused that. That's rare on this show. Mike has had problems, and I'm not sure why. With the feed will just go dark every once in a while. And usually, if I'm watching it, I will text him right away and say, your feed has gone black right now. Black feeds matter, but we need the feed. That's what we do. We need the feed. I've just got to double check this to make sure that we're not frozen. And it looks like we're okay. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I don't know what. Monsters censoring, restricting, and muting any way they choose. Well, that may be true. That may be true. I don't put anything past the evil that is in Silicon Valley. But we haven't had that many problems, though, with Facebook and YouTube, with either one of the feeds. We are broadcasting the audio anytime you want to hear it. Harry J. Smith Company, go to legacy1160.com, and we are there. And you can also view us at legacy1160.com. Just click on video. So I'm trying this new interface. If you're watching on the computer now, you know that there's a brand new interface that Facebook just premiered this morning. I don't know, maybe that's got something to do with it. I have no idea. But I'm going to try now to restart a watch party on my page and see if we can get some of the people back. That when the video freezes, of course, people leave. You don't want to sit there looking at nothing going on. So, all right, we'll try that now. We've got a 9:54. Oh, goodness. Boy, we have eaten right through this hour, haven't we? Talking about what is happening in media with cuties and with Mulan and China. It's very scary stuff going on in America right now. And we've got a lot more of the scary stuff to get to. Coming up next hour, I will tell you that we are going to be reviewing something that Kamala Harris said yesterday. Very, very interesting and perhaps telling. Maybe it was a Freudian slip. Boy, oh boy, it sort of paints a picture of what we've been talking about. What she inadvertently, perhaps accidentally, said. It sort of harkens back. Do you remember Amy Klobuchar? She was making a speech one time before, anything had been done insofar as a choice for vice. She was one of the people being chosen for vice president. Or one of the people in the running to be chosen for vice president under Joe Biden. And it was before Al Sharpton and Don Lemon and everybody else got to him, Joy Reid, about, well, you really need to pick a woman of color. And they got to him. And so that's what he ultimately did. But before that, there were a lot of women who were it was always a woman, but Pocahontas was one, Amy Klobuchar was one, and Amy Klobuchar slipped one day during a speech and said something that indicated she was Biden's vice presidential pick. And people thought, very telling. Amy Klobuchar, she's going to be the one. And you know what? I go back to that speech and I think, perhaps she was the one. But then they started getting to him, well, if you're going to have a chance, you got to pick a woman of color. So maybe because she pulled out, she of her own accord, and I think she was probably asked to by Joe Biden. She said, I'm taking myself out of the running for vice president. She said that. So I think she might have been the pick at one time, but Joe Biden, pandering Joe, backtracked because he was being led around by the nose by other progressives, and he ended up choosing Kamala Harris, who made a statement yesterday that sort of made my head spin. You'll hear it coming up after the news. We do have to take another break here. I'm John James, and this is your Pep Rally for Freedom. Stick around, please.
AM 1160, WSKW.
In this election, the health and financial security of Americans 50 plus are on the line. From preventing cuts to Social Security to protecting Medicare to lowering prescription drug prices, you deserve to cast your vote on the issues that matter to you. And AARP is here to help. We're working to make sure your voice is heard. And this year, that means having the information you need to vote safely, whether absentee, from home, or in person. If you plan to vote absentee, it's more important than ever to request and return your ballot early. Everyone, from working parents to family caregivers to seniors in nursing homes, should be able to vote safely. So don't wait. Visit us at aarp.org/mainvotes and find out how to request your absentee ballot today. You deserve the peace of mind that comes with voting safely and knowing your vote will count. Learn how AARP Maine is fighting to protect voters 50 plus. Visit aarp.org/mainvotes today. Paid for by AARP.
Are you an unemployed or underemployed veteran or an employer looking to hire? The Maine Hire a Vet campaign is going virtual and coming to computers and phones Tuesday, September 15th. The kickoff event begins at 11 with a hiring fair from 1 to 4. Their goal is 100 businesses hiring 100 vets in 100 days, but this event is open to everybody. Hire the right veteran for the right job right now. Visit MaineCareerCenter.com and click on the Hire a Vet link. Thanks to Bath Iron Works, Veterans Education and Transition Services, Maine Bureau of Veteran Services, and Destination Occupation.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Inez de la Cuetara. Hurricane Sally is bearing down on the Gulf Coast ahead of an expected landfall late tonight or tomorrow morning. The storm is moving very slowly, increasing fears of extensive flooding and storm surge. In America's West, the ongoing battle against a rash of deadly wildfires, more than 24 people dead. Nearly 5 million acres have burned across California, Oregon, and Washington. Today at the White House, Israel is signing agreements to normalize relations with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, the first Middle East peace deals in 26 years. The president's senior advisor, son-in-law Jared Kushner, praising the agreements, which he helped broker.
This really signals the end, we believe, of the Arab-Israeli conflict.
The agreements do not address the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Los Angeles County Sheriff says he's worried more of his deputies will come under attack after the brazen ambush of 2 deputies Saturday. Both are recovering from the shooting. A $175,000 reward is being offered in the search for the gunman. This is ABC News. British lawmakers are moving ahead with a bill that could put Brexit negotiations in serious trouble.
Its official name is the Internal Market Bill. And even Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative government has acknowledged that it breaches the legally binding withdrawal treaty that Britain and the EU have both ratified.
The ayes to the right, 340. The noes to the left, 263. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it. unlock.
The legislation threatens to sink the already shaky negotiations between Britain and the EU on a post-Brexit trade deal. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
And Lego is ditching plastic, not for its bricks, but for the bags in the boxes for its sets. Lego says the switch to paper bags will start next year. The push for the switch came from kids who wrote in asking Lego to get rid of the plastic bags. As for the bricks themselves, Lego says they haven't yet found a replacement material that holds up as well. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
You're listening to Freedom's Pep Rally on Legacy 1160, where Black voices matter.
History is about learning from it. I don't want to see us become like the Taliban or ISIS. Those are the people that destroy history.
How can you have systemic discrimination in Chicago when the leadership is minority? I know what systemic discrimination is. It does not exist.
If you say all lives matter, which is true, that includes Black lives, ladies and gentlemen, you get fired.
Here's your Pep Rally host, John James.
Good morning. It's 10:03. Welcome back. Little truth, little freedom, little pep in your day. Hopefully, I like to think 621-9759. Sorry about that phone number. I haven't gotten that out. We don't often take phone calls. I often don't see the phone. You're always welcome to call. Give me a heads up. We have not, at least historically, been based around calls. If the phone is busy all the time, we will be keeping a closer eye on it, and we'll take more calls. Glad to do it. Love to talk with you. But we're going to miss out on calls, as I have already this morning. But I will try to keep an eye out. Just text me or Facebook me if you think you might want to call, and I'll try to keep an eye out for you. But I would love to get your voice on the radio. If that is the route you would like to go. Otherwise, you can text us at 207-441-6969, 441-6969. And you can also Facebook us. Go to my page. That's where the broadcast is originating from right now. It's also available at Legacy 1160's Facebook page and at American Women Who Bear Arms. 10:04 right now. And about time for us to get Savvy back on here. Savannah from the Savvy Truth. She's got a show coming up tonight that should be good. This week's guest is Topher, MAGA rapper and barrel racing come together. And they're going to be talking about Cuties, the movie, Cuties, California, and cancel culture. 16-year-old Savannah Lynn is just an amazing young American, and we will be sharing her broadcast on American Women Who Bear Arms. And if I think of it, we're going to be sharing it also on the Legacy page as well, if you want to check that out later on. That'll be on this evening. I think 6:30 is the time. It maybe that's a different time zone. I'll make sure that it gets posted in time, though, so you don't miss any of it. Or you can always go to the Savvy Truth and see what she's got there. All right. I want to start the hour out with something I wrote. Now, I did not go to the rally on Saturday at the State House in Augusta. And I thought, number one, I had so much stuff I am trying to get done at home. And I've been not doing that because I've been working on my own personal business things. And besides, I didn't have a speech written. However, on Saturday morning, I had written something an article that I posted on a bunch of Facebook pages. And as I was driving around, I thought, that would have been okay as a speech. I thought I didn't have any prepared remarks, but actually I did, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even think about it. So what I want to do is I'm going to read you this thing I wrote, and, you know, you can take it or leave it. I did it. I just sat down at the computer. I was a little bit inspired on Saturday morning, and I just started writing things that I thought made sense and would resonate with some people. And whether they do or not, I don't know. It got a lot of shares. It got a lot of likes. But I don't know. You tell me. But here's what I said. Here's what I feel. I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing every excuse in the book from virtue signaling leftists arguing that pick a group is in dire straits because capitalism and the oppressive system is keeping them down. Why is someone else always to blame for the failure of certain people? Why is rage always used as a tool to make a point? Where has it gotten anybody, ever? Those inciting the rage are those people sitting on the sidelines, in the media, on social media, in Congress, on the streets. Idiot bodybuilder and so-called journalist Chris Cuomo on CNN recently said, "Please, show me where it says protesters are supposed to be polite and peaceful." The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, Chris. You should put down your dumbbells sometime and read where it literally says the right of the people to peaceably assemble. Ali Velshi of MSNBC famously stood in front of a raging fire in Minneapolis, nearly shouting to be heard, saying, "The protests are mostly peaceful." What's unsettling is there are indoctrinated followers on the far left who think that what the media says is to be believed rather than their own eyes. Media has become a false god in that sense. Antifa and BLM terrorizes people on a nightly basis, whether they're walking down the street or dining outside. Many urban areas don't even allow inside dining right now. We've seen it with our eyes. Chairs being thrown, glasses being smashed, fires being set. All the while, Democrat governors and mayors resisting help from the federal government because they can't accept anything evil Donald Trump offers, lest he might be seen in a positive light. So the violence goes on, buildings burn, lives are ruined, others lost. Donald Trump is called a racist. These people, sadly, have exactly no clue as to what they're talking about. They can't see beyond their hatred for this outsider who has come in and upset the status quo in favor of freedom. The hatred is more than an emotion. At this point, it is palpable. What happened to old-fashioned Democrats? Moderate and objective. Many are weak-minded and have been lured slowly more and more to the leftist ideologies. Still others, undoubtedly more, are a product of academia, where in colleges across America there are very few conservatives. And those who are conservative, well, they're often afraid to admit it because you know what happens when you disagree with a radical leftist. They'll try and have often succeeded in ruining a person's life. Here's a very telling piece from KPC News regarding the ratio of liberal versus conservative college professors. Professor Walter Williams asserted that many professors spend class time indoctrinating students with their views, which are often leftist or even socialist. For example, of the 66 top-rated liberal arts colleges, 39% had not a single registered Republican professor. In anthropology departments, the Democrat to Republican ratio was an astounding 133 to 1. And in the social science departments, the ratio was 133 to 0. Don't doubt that this trend will continue to mold the minds of our young people Even those with good values instilled while growing up can fall victim. Peer pressure and strong-willed instructors can undo years of a good upbringing. Some who have drunk the Kool-Aid will figure it out when they leave college and make their way in life. I've seen it happen. Still others, perhaps a majority, will continue on pushing for social justice, which is a red herring. What they're really pushing for, perhaps mindlessly or maybe knowingly, is an AOC style of government, where the government tells us what to do, where to go for treatment of illness, what treatment we can get, if any, what to drive, what to eat, no red meat, and on and on and on and on and on. Now, of course, the left will deny that. Why wouldn't they? They want you to comply. And the truth, even if they know what it is, would not make anyone want to. I have so much more to say, but the main thing you should take away from this is, if you're this far in, listen. If you're a conservative who loves America, American exceptionalism, freedom, capitalism, living life on your terms, doing whatever you want to do while always respecting everyone else's rights, if you want immigration by the books, done the right way with mandatory assimilation, law enforcement, including ICE, DHS, local, state, military, and so forth, the ability to speak freely regardless of your point of view, and perhaps most importantly, the freedom to defend yourself using the firearm of your choice, regardless of the look or magazine size. If you like these values, which Americans have held dear for more than 240 years, then the time to cower out of fear that you're going to offend or trigger someone has long since passed. As we'd say back in the day, grow a pair. The progressive leftists are loud and obnoxious, and trust me, they think they're better than you and me. You ever tried to argue with one? Let's keep the lines of communication open. We need to talk. Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, and so forth. The radical left is Democrat in name only. As many black men and women in high places, including Leo Terrell, an attorney, Barbara Heinbach, Clinton and Carter administration employee, they've said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party left me. There is a certain element you just need to avoid, and it's this one, because you cannot have a conversation with them. You'll quickly identify them, and when you do, just move along. We need Donald Trump, in my opinion. We need at least 4 more years of pushing back against progressives and wokeness. Otherwise, and believe this, America may not survive. And that's what I would have said Saturday had I gone to the rally. And that is posted on Facebook at the Legacy page, at my page, at American Women Who Bear Arms. If you want to read it, if you care to. Little something I put down on screen. We don't put anything on paper anymore. It's 10:16, back with more. I'm John James.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Sales and service by a family who cares. Whittemore and Sons, Whittemore and Sons.
There are some things you can simply never depend on, like buying grapes at the grocery store. Will this bag be sweet? Will it be sour? Who knows, they look the same. But know that you can always count on Whittemore & Sons in our line of Coyote tractors. Coyote tractors are machines made to work, whether it's mowing, tilling, digging, lifting, or hauling. Check out the full line of tough and versatile Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales in service for over 50 years. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
From work to fun, we'll help you get it done. Whittemore & Sons. Outdoor power equipment.
Were you thinking of enrolling at Kennebec Valley Community College this fall, but now worry it's too late? Hi, I'm Nicole, a student in the mental health program at KVCC.
Hey, there we go. Hey, Facebook. How are you? Okay, I'm just making sure we're not bleeding over on the air here. We've got a lot of stuff. I've got some audio you need to hear this morning, and there are a couple of pieces that are fairly long. One of them is by a guy named Jesse Waters, who you may know from Waters World. He does a piece called Waters Word. And wow, the more I hear, we're conservatives, I think we're all on the same page. And, it gives me, when I hear other people echo in the media that I respect, things that we've been talking about here all along, it gives me pause to think, we're on the right track. We are on the right track. And all I ask is for your ear for a few hours, and you've got my ear too. Just call, text, Facebook, whatever. This should be a two-way street. Now, you're always welcome to call. Although, if you don't want to, if you just want to sit back and listen and garner a little bit of knowledge from a conservative point of view, that's great. But you're more than welcome to participate. I certainly can fill 3 hours. I have no problem doing that. But you want to hear this Jesse Waters piece, because it does echo what we've been saying all along, which gives me the confidence that, we're on the right track with this show. And the sense that we are trying to get out there is more common than I realized. I thought I was maybe a little too much of a conspiracy theorist, but the more I hear other people saying the same thing, the more I feel we're on the right track here. We're back. Stand by.
Collision Centers.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Yes, welcome back to the show. Little break, and we're doing it. Share the video if you would. Share the audio if you would, too. The audio is, you can just go to legacy1160.com, click on Listen Live, and we've got a 24/7 feed there. You'll get the music for the rest of the day and local sports if there ever is again. Mike Violet is the king of sports, and he is the king of local sports for sure. But we aren't going to have any football or volleyball this year, so saith Governor Mills, Czar Mills, and the MPA, I guess, says, what can they do? What can they do? You wonder, how can we be so willing to accept these edicts? But it's easy. And this, trust me, this is the scary part. This is the scariest part that a lot of people don't take time to consider. Why are we taking this? Well, because what choice do we have? Really? Think about that for a minute. I know. Well, we do have a choice. We do whatever we want. We're free Americans. Not really. Not really. We aren't free Americans right now. We are not free. What it would take for us to do whatever we want to do, which we should be able to do, is for everybody to say to hell with what the government says. To hell with the fines they're going to levy on us. To hell with it all. We're going to do what we want to do. You aren't going to get people to rise up and go against the powers that be that easily. This is why more and more people are talking now. In fact, I will tell you this. I got a piece of material. I've been doing a lot of long form stuff in my studio for somebody who writes books on survival, blah, 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 blah. And I kid you not, yesterday I got a script. It was like a 20-page script, and a lot of it talked about this book, which tells you what to do in the event of civil war. I have never, ever, ever done a piece of copy of radio. I don't know if this is internet copy, I think. I have never done a read that included the words, in case of a civil war, here's how you can best survive. Wow, wow, wow. I was afraid to say it for a long time because that is scary stuff. I'm sorry, it's arguably more scary than climate change, which has scared the school kids all over the world into having climate strikes and so forth. Civil war is now being talked about in broad circles. That's the epitome of an uprising. And short of that, I don't know how or when we're going to get freedoms back. I am reluctant to think that this is going to end, especially if Joe Biden gets elected, because this is right in their wheelhouse. Theirs, I say, because Joe's an empty vessel. It's right in the wheelhouse of those who are going to be controlling Joe Biden in the administration should Joe Biden win. This is going in the direction they want. The skids are being greased. The freedoms have been taken away because COVID. It's already started. It's already started. And Donald Trump had no choice. The president had no choice but to comply. And there's a lot more that goes into why this all happened. You can argue that it was an accident, that people started getting sick in China and then traveling, and it was accidental. I think it's far more sinister than that myself. I truly do. And I was afraid to say things like that before, but now there are people saying the same thing. This is greasing the skids for a leftist administration. And trust me, nobody loves this more than people like Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders and AOC and Beto O'Rourke. They can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They can see the light of utopia shining through the tunnel. And Joe Biden will not be the president even if he's elected. How do I know that? Well, have you seen Joe Biden speak lately? We've got an excerpt of one of his speeches, but even more telling might be this slip from Kamala Harris yesterday. Now, you got to listen closely. I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to listen for the slip, and it'll be real easy for you to pick up on. Many on social media question whether she made a misstatement or a Freudian slip. As critics of the Biden candidacy insist that the former VP is only a placeholder. And by the way, Kamala Harris is the most liberal senator in Congress. They'll deny that. They'll say she's moderate. No, she's not. Nope. Again, I implore you, if you have any questions, read the Kamala Harris section of Profiles in Corruption by Peter Schweitzer. It's all in writing. You won't hear about those books on the Today Show or CNN or MSNBC. No, they're too busy doing book promotions for all the anti-Trump books coming out. Anything that nails the Democrats, do you think they're going to push that? Do you think they are even going to give that the light of day on the news? The news, not news. Absolutely not. Here's Kamala Harris yesterday. And just listen
need to make sure you have a president in the White House who actually sees you, who understands your needs, who understands the dignity of your work, and who has your back. A Harris administration, together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States, the Biden-Harris administration will have provide access to $100 billion in low-interest loans and investments for minority business owners.
The Harris-Biden administration. John Gabriel, editor-in-chief of Ricochet, said Joe better hire a food taster. Daily Caller's Greg Price said, uh-oh, Kamala, you weren't supposed to say that part out loud. Then the Trump campaign naturally seized on it. Trump War Room tweeted, Biden's running mate let the truth slip. Trump and his supporters have repeatedly attacked Joe Biden as being a Trojan horse for the radical left, while others have predicted that the former VP is serving as a placeholder until Harris is sworn in as president. Her voice gives me the creeps, gives me the heebie-jeebies. She sounds like a dictator. She certainly sounds like she feels she's better than you and me. Little pompous, little arrogant, very corrupt. Again, Peter Schweitzer, Profiles in Corruption. Read it. Read it. If you've got Amazon Audible, you get credits every month. Use one of your credits to buy Profiles in Corruption. There's a lot of corruption in there. A lot of people. Joe Biden. Oh yeah, Joe Biden. Oh, he's as corrupt as corrupt. He's as corrupt as the day is long. Get the right analogy here. There's Kamala Harris. There's Bernie Sanders. There's Amy Klobuchar. They're all in the book. Learn about him. They're all going to be part of the Biden administration if he's elected. Anyway, some that aren't in there include Beto O'Rourke, the guy that's going to take your guns by force if necessary. If you're not, well, this can't happen in America. Yeah, it can. I assure you it can. Look what is happening in America right now. Did we ever think we'd live to see the day when police are standing down out of fear of being killed? When police chiefs across the country are quitting because there's no longer respect within their departments? Horrible times. And it's spreading. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Listen to this. Maybe you've heard this. The sister of the knife-wielding man who was shot Monday. He was shot dead, by the way. The sister said he was bipolar, schizophrenic, and off his medications, and that she was just trying to get mental health aid when she called authorities. She said he had an episode. He was just incoherent and acting out. Her brother, Ricardo Munoz. Her name is Rulenis Munoz. She's 33. He was 27. Here's the 411. Police said Sunday in a press release on the incident, the caller related that her brother was reportedly becoming aggressive with his mother and was attempting to break into her house. Rulenis Munoz, the sister, said that she only phoned a local crisis intervention group and a non-emergency phone number. Well, it sounded like an emergency to me, but whatever. She did what she felt was right. I called to find out what the procedure was to get him some help, she said. Then here's what happened. A cop arrived at Munoz's mother's home at around 4:25 in the afternoon. Then Ricardo Munoz, the brother who was having an episode, burst through the front door and charged at the cop, holding a knife. Body cam video shows that. The officer retreated, squeezing off multiple shots, killing Munoz. The cop was acting in self-defense. But that didn't stop the riots. Dozens took to the streets. They are literally a stick of dynamite with a fuse almost to the end. All it takes is something, anything, to set them off. And riot they did in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I mean, how much closer do we have to get to the end of America for people to start to say, you know, we've really got to consider doing something here. We've got to make some noise. We've got to do something. We aren't going to go rioting in the street. I hope we're not going to have a civil war. I would like to think there could be civil discourse, but how? How? We've become a society of trial by mob. No evidence needed, no due process, just automatic guilt, and punishment is doled out by BLM and Antifa to everybody. Police, store owners, homeowners, everybody is guilty. If you're breathing and you're taking up space, you are guilty of the crime. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter your religion. You are guilty. So that's Lancaster. I'm not sure how things are in the streets right now, but they certainly weren't good as recently as yesterday. Body cam footage hopefully changed something, but doubtful. I mean, nobody who's out there rioting is watching body cam footage because they don't care. They don't care why. They just need others around them egging them on, calling for justice, yelling no peace, no rest, or however it goes. No justice, no peace. Is that it? No justice, no peace. Yeah, no peace, no rest. That's for sure. 1034 Legacy 1160 WSKW. All right, I do want to let you hear this Jesse Waters piece, and it's so good. This is the best piece Jesse Waters has ever done in my mind. Now, I'm not going to play all of it. What the part I'm going to play is rather lengthy, but it's worth hearing because it makes so much sense. The kind of sense that I've been trying to make for the last year here. And he sums it up nicely. I don't feel so alone when I say the things I say anymore because others are now saying it. You know what I've been telling you about, how the leftist media is lying to you? Like when MSNBC and CNN and CBS report from virtual war zones saying the protests are mostly peaceful. Remember I said the danger is that many of their leftist progressive followers see the pictures but believe the BS that their trusted, lying, non-journalist, non-objective news sources are telling them? I've been telling you that. They don't believe what they see. They believe what they're being told. They are indoctrinated by media. Jesse Waters did this excellent piece. It's all about lies and feelings. The progressives, that's what it is. It's lies and it's feelings. It's emotions. It's rage. Rage is the key emotion. And this is what they're doing. They are inciting. It's not Trump's fault. Two very powerful weapons the leftist ideology uses to get their way, to gain control, to ruin America. Lies and feelings. Sinister? You bet it is. But it's time to speak up, time to stop worrying about how you'll be regarded by your leftist friends. Because while you remain silent, while I remain silent, they are literally destroying us. Jesse Waters on Fox News.
I think this is a blind spot.
The program, that's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Something very mysterious is happening here in America. There's a campaign to program you. You're being told not to trust what you see with your own eyes. If you hear something, you're told you didn't actually hear that. If you feel something, you're shamed into not trusting your instincts. It's actually deeper than the typical lie. It's more sophisticated than that. Let me show you how it works and why it's happening. For the entire summer, Joe Biden ignored the most destructive rioting the country's seen in 50 years. Biden and his pals in the press counted on this energy to carry him to victory in November. So besides Fox, national TV stations didn't show video of the rioting, looting, and shooting. When they referenced it, they called it mostly peaceful. But local news showed it every night. It went viral on social media, and the people who live in the path of destruction experienced it firsthand. Joe Biden didn't say a word about this until CNN told him it was hurting his chance of winning.
I think this is a blind spot for Democrats. I think Democrats are ignoring this problem or hoping that it will go away. And it's not going to go away. Joe Biden may be afraid to do it. I'm not sure. Maybe he won't. Maybe he is. He's got to address it.
It wasn't until someone died in a swing state, Wisconsin, that forced Biden out of his basement. Trump had already visited Wisconsin to tour the damage, so Biden followed in the president's footsteps. Biden hadn't visited Wisconsin in 2 years, and when he showed up, nobody was there to greet him. They tell you that Biden is winning, but where are his voters? Biden spoke at a church, but there were only about 8 people there. Earlier in the week, he spoke in Pennsylvania, and there were 0 voters there, just 6 members of the media who agreed not to ask him questions. They're pretending something is out there that you can't see. Back to Wisconsin. He was socially distanced, so why is he wearing a mask? Isn't Biden being tested? He's running on a pandemic that's fading, so he needs to keep up appearances, doesn't he? If Biden wears a mask at all times, even when he doesn't have to, you think the pandemic is worse than it is. Listen to what he told the mostly black audience.
Why in God's name don't we teach history in history classes? A black man invented the light bulb, not a white guy named Edison.
That's just not true. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. One of his black researchers, Lewis Latimer, improved upon the light bulb significantly. He was brilliant, but he didn't invent it. Why would Biden lie about something like that? Everyone knows Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. It's easy to double check. Biden sells himself as a straight shooter, working class Joe, and an ally of black America. But he just tells people what they want to hear. He doesn't tell the truth. President Trump hit on this at the RNC.
For 47 years, Joe Biden took the donations of blue-collar workers, gave them hugs and even kisses, and told them he felt their pain. And then he flew back to Washington and voted to ship our jobs to China and many other distant lands.
What people are saying doesn't always jive with what they're doing. Pay attention to that. What were the types of businesses that were burned down all summer? They weren't multinational corporations, were they? They were small businesses, mom and pop businesses, owned by blue-collar, middle-class, traditional Americans, black, white, and Hispanic. A few big chains got looted, but they can just write that off and don't bat an eye. So the large multinational corporations sponsored Black Lives Matter, put out statements of support, and donated to their cause. while Black Lives Matter activists and Antifa burned their lone competitors to a crisp, small businesses, who big business have tried to put out of business for decades. And now they have in many cities. The Democrat mayors and governors didn't stop middle-class small businesses from being torched. They pulled their police back and refused to let Trump send in the guard. Something very sinister is going on here. Mr. Middle-Class Joe didn't tell anyone to knock it off until it was too late. Joe Biden from the state of Delaware, where all the multinational corporations are incorporated for tax purposes, obviously. The far left destroyed thousands of middle-class businesses, and guess who they blamed? Trump.
The simple truth is, Donald Trump failed to protect America. The violence we're seeing in Donald Trump's America, it's getting worse. And you know why? Because Donald Trump adds fuel to every fire. His failure to call on his own supporters to stop acting as an armed militia in this country shows how weak he is. Does anyone believe there'll be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected?
Does this make any logical sense to you? Democrats rioting in Democrat cities while Democrats do nothing to stop it is a reason to vote for Democrats? Here's what happened in Portland last weekend. That was a member of Antifa shooting a Trump supporter dead in the chest. Days later, Joe Biden doesn't condemn Antifa, doesn't mention Antifa by name. He goes on TV and says, "Are you safe in Trump's America?" Biden is tacitly acknowledging Democrats are committing crimes and says, "We'll stop committing crimes if you vote for me." That's extortion. Biden's putting a gun to America's head and demanding votes for ransom. Then the media tells you Trump is the one making it worse.
The president is willfully fanning the flames of this violence.
We have a president who fans the flames rather than fighting the flames.
Now he's trying to become president again by fanning the flames of hate.
The president does not have a plan. He has fanned the flames.
How can Trump be fanning the flames when he's trying to stop the violence by sending in the National Guard? Every time the Guard goes in, the streets get more peaceful. This is the bait and switch to get you to blame the president. Democrats destroying Democrat cities isn't a problem. Trump condemning it, that's the problem. Trump's mere acknowledgement of their crime wave puts him at the scene of the crime so he can be framed for it. This hoax only works if Democrats hide the true criminals.
There's violence across the whole country. Do you disavow the violence from Antifa that's happening in Portland right now? There's riots.
That's a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
About Antifa in Portland?
Yes.
Riots have raged in Portland for nearly 100 days straight. People are getting kicked in the head. Fires are being started in stores, ransacked. There's mountains of video evidence pointing to the perpetrators, but here's the trick. All of the video of Antifa mayhem you see, you aren't really seeing that. It's a myth. This is an arrogance built upon power, the power to control the message through a corrupt media, to make you doubt what you see, to make you question it, to make it easy to deny, to suggest you shouldn't even look into it. They pull the same stunt with Black Lives Matter.
None of the activists from Black Lives Matter have been arrested for anything violent.
Nothing to see here. You know it's not true. Thousands of arrests. Charges include homicide, arson, assault, terrorism, felony rioting. Just peaceful protests, right? The destruction is becoming so undeniable, they played the Russia card.
The Russians 4 years ago, Dana, exploited Black Lives Matter. They set up their own false flags online to try to divide people along racial lines.
Are they doing it now?
And we have to, they are once again doing their best in social media, in their overt media, and other means to grow these divisions again.
It's just another Russia conspiracy.
Unbelievable. That's where we are. The media is working so hard for the DNC to get rid of Donald Trump by lying to you, by exacerbating the violence, by making you hate the status quo so much that you will vote anyway, but Republican. Be mindful of that. We can't let it happen. I don't think we will. But don't look away, because we'll get to the election and then have no doubt somewhere, some way, somehow, corruption will ensue. Voter fraud will ensue. They're working on it right now. That's what I think. They're working on how they're going to pull this off. This is where we are. We are becoming the type of country we work so hard to be different than. We are going down that road. We've lost our compass. We've lost our moral compass. We have lost our freedom compass. And we're giving it all over to the socialists, the self-proclaimed Marxists, who themselves are racist. Karl Marx was a racist. And they're building an ideology on his teachings. Hypocrisy. Stick around. We've got a lot more to come. Got to take a break here. I'm John James.
1160 WSKW.
Keep your focus on what's going on in the state and the country by tuning into my show, The Mike Violet Show, weekdays from 6 to 9 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. We discuss it all, the issues, the news, the facts, and the opinions with some of the most important newsmakers and guests in all of Maine. The Mike Violet Show, brought to you by Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including expert installations, repairs, and more. 861-7028 or online at KennebecElectric.com.
Many things have changed with COVID-19, and Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union would like to thank all of their members for adhering to the changes. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union has moved forward with reopening some of their lobbies. In accordance with appropriate CDC guidelines, the Farmington and Skowhegan branches now have access to limited services in their lobbies. They also highly recommend continued use of their drive-through services, teller phone, night deposit, easy banking, and mobile banking for everyday transactions and appointments for loans or new accounts at both Farmington and Skowhegan, as well as their other branches in Kingfield, Stratton, and Madison. The safety of their members and their staff is of utmost concern. They'd like to thank you for your patience and your cooperation in helping them as we work through these unusual circumstances and develop newer and safer ways to meet your financial needs. Visit them on the web at f-sfcu.com. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union, where their most important member is you. Member NCUA and an equal housing lender.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
M-O-O-D-Y. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
It's 10:51 right now. Legacy 1160 WSKW. Johnny James coming up. We have got the Hodge twins. We have got Officer Brandon Tatum. Our Black Voices Matter series will continue. To further show you the unrest is built on lies. Lies, mistruths, and, well, it's being led by tyrants. And the tyrants are being funded by rich people. We don't know who they all are. We know George Soros is one of them. But they're not limited on funds, let's say that. And when you understand that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were among those who bailed out rioters in Minneapolis after the George Floyd killing, when you know this stuff, you won't hear this stuff on mainstream media. This is why I'm telling you this. You can corroborate it if you know what to look for. You can corroborate it. You can corroborate the fact that when people give money to, and you just saw this huge influx of money Joe Biden got. Where'd all this money come from? Well, look at all the donations to Black Lives Matter. Look at where a lot of that money goes for Black Lives Matter. It goes right to the Democrats. So there's no shortage of money. The messaging is a lie. And so are many of the allegations against people, like the police. Say, for instance, in the Jacob Blake shooting. Brendan Tatum addresses that. He's a former cop in Tucson. And we'll have him addressing that a little bit later on this morning. First, though, Massachusetts, our neighbors in Massachusetts, there's a guy named Ed Markey. He's a senator there. And he said yesterday, you talk about stupidity, this from Just the News. Police should be very afraid. There is a war on police by the political left. There is. They don't want the police. What is it going to take to wake people up? I mean, we just want safety. That's what our Constitution guarantees. It guarantees that our rights will be protected by the government. That is their first job. Arguably their only job, to protect our rights as individuals. Not as a community. Not with community groups policing us. Because people have a spark of divinity. All people are good, says Nancy Pelosi. We don't need police. We don't need armed police. That's what Markey is saying. Ed Markey of Massachusetts said yesterday that U.S. police officers must uniformly be disarmed of weapons of war. I love that. Weapons of war. Everything is a weapon of war. According to the senator, weapons of war include, but aren't limited to, tear gas, rubber and plastic bullets, beanbag rounds. Weapons of war. Portland, Oregon Mayor Ted Wheeler recently issued a ban on CS gas, tear gas. Can't use tear gas on demonstrators anymore. It's non-lethal. He was tear gassed. That's probably why he was tear gassed. Ted Wheeler was out protesting with the rioters, and he got tear gassed. The rioters, even though he was out there showing solidarity, they don't care. They hate him too. He had to move because they went to his apartment building protesting him. Yet he's out there showing solidarity with them. Now, you know, he is also the police commissioner. Did you know that? The mayor is the police commissioner, and he has said you can't use tear gas anymore. So they're disarming the police. This is how the left is going to gain control. First of all, you've got to take away control from the people here to protect us. You've got to take away the control of the people who should be watching out for our rights. Once that is done, nobody is going to protect our rights from the government except us. And is it any wonder why people are talking civil war? So yesterday, Ed Markey of Massachusetts said police need to be disarmed. Several weeks ago, Ted Wheeler was tear gassed, as I said, and so he banned tear gas. Now, Ed Markey of Massachusetts wants to ban tear gas. Police Chief James Craig of Detroit was on with Martha McCallum, The Story, last night. Now, we're talking about Markey's uneducated statement. Here's what the Detroit police chief had to say about that.
Absolutely ridiculous. You know what I find fascinating, Martha, and even Rashida Tlaib here out of my state here in Michigan, who is calling for me to resign. Let me just say this. When are we going to start talking about disarming criminals? I've been on the record. I support law-abiding citizens to be armed. But criminals? And so it's okay to attack police officers. And then everyone always says one thing, these were peaceful protesters. So I guess when you're throwing Molotov cocktails, railroad spikes, other projectiles, you're using green lasers, I guess that constitutes being peaceful. Yeah. We have never tried to stop folks from their right to free speech. We've been dealing with this for in excess of 100 days, 6 instances where we've had to use force because they were either attacking us or they resisted a lawful arrest.
Resisted a lawful arrest. You can't do that and expect no consequences. You can't do that. Comply. You comply with the police. That's what you do. That's what everybody should be taught to do from a very young age. If you don't comply, all bets are off. In June, when nationwide protests followed the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis while he was in police custody, now the riots and unrest had been going on for about a month. Senators Markey and Bernie Sanders in Vermont introduced legislation to ban the use of tear gas and rubber bullets by law enforcement. These are non-lethal means of crowd control. The No Tear Gas or Projectiles Act moved to ban the use of riot control agents and kinetic impact projectiles by state, federal, and local law enforcement officials. So what does that leave them with? That leaves them with lethal force or nothing or a baton. The bill also would create a civil penalty for cops who use the prohibited material. Our streets are not meant to be battlefields, and law enforcement shouldn't be using weapons of war against our protesters and other Americans. Protesters, rioters. It's all in how you portray. And this is what the media does. They portray protesters, peaceful protesters, covering up all the violence in the cities. So who becomes the enemy? The police are going against the protesters. Well, no, not really. If you really take the time to look rather than just believe what the lies are telling you on the news, you will see that the police are standing up for themselves and their citizenry and trying to protect their cities. All the while, the Democratic establishment is trying to clip their wings, trying to declaw them, trying to do away with them. We've got more coming up after 11 o'clock. Time for the news. Got more audio. Got Brandon Tatum coming up. You're going to want to hear this and more. I'm John James.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. The death toll is rising from wildfires in the West.
These wildfires have taken the lives of at least 27 people. This is about 28 major fires are burning in the state of California.
ABC's Kaylee Harting in West Portland, Oregon. The smoke is making that city's air the dirtiest in the world. Hurricane Sally's outer bands are lashing the Gulf Coast, and the slow-moving Category 1 hurricane is expected to make landfall somewhere near the Alabama-Mississippi border tonight with winds of about 100 miles per hour. Some areas could get nearly 2 feet of rain. The FBI is joining a massive search for a gunman who ambushed 2 deputies in Compton, California. The LA County Sheriff says he's worried about more attacks on law enforcement officers. He's warning members of his agency to watch each other's backs. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny posted a picture of himself in a hospital in Germany and says he's breathing on his own. Navalny was poisoned, but the Kremlin denies responsibility. This is ABC News. A deal announced as early as today could settle the civil suit over the police shooting of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky.
The settlement is expected to not only include a large financial payment to the family of Breonna Taylor, but also police reforms, like requiring commanders to approve all search warrants before going to a judge, and housing credits to officers who agree to live in the city. The deal is set to be announced as a grand jury could begin screening possible criminal charges against 3 officers involved in fatally shooting Taylor during a no-knock search of her home in March. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
The World Trade Organization says hundreds of billions of dollars in U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods are illegal. A traffic stop turned out to be extra costly for a man in Georgia. Police in Cherokee County say a man who fled on foot left behind a winning lottery ticket. The sheriff's office posted on Facebook that the person can pick it up at 498 Chatton Drive in Canton. That's the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. The post ends with, "Congratulations, by the way." Jim Ryan, ABC News.
O'Reilly. Get more miles on the road with O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From lap desks to notebooks, noise-canceling headphones to UV sanitizers.
And all at amazing prices. This week, pocket folders, comp books, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 25 cents each.
Shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 9/19. In-store only. Limit 6. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Welcome to your Freedom Pep Rally with America's friendliest host, John James.
Hey! How you doing? Welcome back. John James, Pep Rally for Freedom. America, baby. It's worth saving. Yeah, it is. And you know what? You know what? You don't have to worry about the riots. You don't have to worry about police being defunded. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about COVID-19 even. You got to worry about the climate. I know that sounds sort of disingenuous. It is. It is very much so. That's what Joe Biden wants you to do, though. You know, we had 2 police killed on Saturday. I think Saturday, this weekend anyway. 2 Los Angeles police shot. I'm sorry. They were shot. They're going to survive. But they were ambushed. They were ambushed, and then they were laughed at as the 31-year-old mother of a 6-year-old took care of her 24-year-old partner. Both had been shot in the face, in the head, while you had idiots out there laughing and celebrating like this guy.
Somebody bust on their ass.
Yeah.
Somebody bust on the police, nigga. Damn, nigga. Oh, 2 sheriffs shot in the face. 2 sheriffs shot in the face. They tripping. It's going up in content. Niggas bust on the police, nigga.
How about that? Oh, it's all fun. It's funny. Ha ha, they deserved it. They're protecting people coming in and going out of a train station, sitting in their cruiser. And they were shot through the windows at point blank range while they sat in their cruiser. God bless the law enforcement officers. And thank God they're still alive. And God bless the mom, the 31-year-old. They're both rookies who put a tourniquet on her partner. God was watching out for them while these people saw it. Nobody went to their aid. All they did is this joker, this thug, laughs. Oh, the cops, they're busted. While that went on, and Donald Trump was busy condemning that violence, praising the police, condemning the violence. Where was Joe Biden? Was he condemning the violence? No, he was speaking near his home in Delaware about the one thing that we're all worried about right now. No, not the riots, the looting, the killing, the anarchy, the COVID. The climate. Out of touch much? Disengaged much, Joe? Oh, but you know, the people whose religion is the climate, their God is Mother Earth. They reveled in what Joe Biden had to say yesterday. Don't worry about the cops. Don't worry about the rioters. Don't worry about any of it, because we're all gonna die if Joe Biden doesn't get elected. According to the New York Post, Joe Biden ripped President Trump as a climate arsonist. So this is what Joe Biden, cops are getting shot, riots are destroying cities. And Joe's out there, he wants to be president, he's out there talking about the climate. And the fires in California, many of which have been set by arsonists. He laid out his $2 trillion. See, Democrats have no problem spending your money, do they? Nancy Pelosi she went home for her little break with her big coolers full of ice cream, rather than make sure a plan to help Americans hurting right now gets out there. No, she won't. She's not going to talk if the president doesn't give her $3 trillion. $3 trillion so she can help some of her special interests. Because that's what she does. She needs to she got a tough election coming out this year. She needs to give people who are going to help her get elected all kinds of money. She'll give $3 trillion to everybody that she cares about, and what's left over will get sloppy seconds out here in America. And while she makes sure all that's happening, she can blame Donald Trump for the deficit. Perfect. I'll spend the money, then I'll blame Donald Trump for giving it to me. Perfect. So, no, she went home. But it's easy for her to say, $3 trillion. Just a drop in the bucket. That's why we're having a break on the Social Security taxes. Because Trump did something. He actually did something. So here he is laying out his $2 trillion Green New Deal agenda, touting renewable energy jobs, electric vehicles, energy-efficient homes, and light bulbs. Ooh, boy, that's all vogue. That's a real pop culture thing to be talking about, right? That's hip and happening. Talking about light bulbs and electric cars. Ooh, that's what we want to be hearing coming up on this election, Joe. Never mind the riots and the country going to hell in a handbasket. Here's part of his impassioned speech. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. Try not to get indoctrinated by his passion here.
Donald Trump is climate denial.
Notice how everything he says starts out Donald Trump, because it's all about Donald Trump. Anyway, go ahead, play the cut.
Donald Trump's climate denial may not have caused these fires and record floods and record hurricanes. But if he gets a second term, these hellish events will continue to become more common, more devastating, and more deadly. And meanwhile, Donald Trump warns that integration is threatening our suburbs. It's ridiculous. But you know what is actually threatening our suburbs? Wildfires are burning the suburbs in the West. Floods are wiping out suburban neighborhoods in the Midwest. Hurricanes are imperiling suburban life along our coast. If we have 4 more years of Trump's climate denial, how many suburbs will be burned in wildfires? How many suburban neighborhoods will have been flooded out? How many suburbs will have been blown away in superstorms? If you give a climate arsonist 4 more years in the White House, why would anyone be surprised if we have more America ablaze?
Oh, boy, Joe. Well, there's, some arson going on out there. They put somebody in jail for arson. I think it was in California. And he got out of jail, and he went out and he started 5 more fires. Yeah, love that bail reform, huh? Woo! Yeah, that's working well out there, isn't it, Gavin Newsom? Bunch of idiots. Do you want idiots running this country, or do you want somebody who loves freedom and cares about Americans running the country? I mean, there's your choice right there. Somebody who's going to be derelict in his duty from day one. He's derelict now. He won't be able to run anything. You wouldn't be able to run a frickin' I'm going to say gas grill, but I wouldn't want to put a gas grill in his hands, nor would I want to put a shotgun in his hands, which he says is all you need to defend your home, by the way. Just go out and fire a couple of blasts from your double-barreled shotgun. Because Joe Biden isn't mentally fit. Donald Trump is. Say all you want about Donald Trump. He's mentally fit to be president, and he's got a vision. He has a vision for America, and it's a good vision. And he's not racist, and he's not xenophobic, and he's not homophobic. And it's not his fault. None of it that you blame him for is his fault. But they've got the ear of the indoctrinated ones. And I can't say the indoctrinated ones know who they are, because they don't know who they are. They really think they're righteous. And all of the things that their Congress people and their political idols and their news media is saying, they're all above board. Believe everything they say. No, not what you see, what they say. So there's doom and gloom Joe Biden, out preaching about climate change as riots ensue. Doesn't want to call out Antifa, doesn't want to call out BLM. Why? Well, that's half his voters. Right there. That's half his voters. Here's a story. Speaking of fires, an Oregon woman found an arsonist on her property over the weekend. Now, this is where all these fires are starting, out west. And there's so many of them that are arson. There have been 4, now 5, and maybe more who they've caught setting fires. All it takes is one match to burn millions of acres. One match. So far, they've caught 4, now 5 arsonists. An Oregon woman found this guy on her property over the weekend. He had matches. He was an arsonist. She had a gun. Ha ha! There you go. That's how you do it. You show them, honey. Sorry, I don't mean to be sexist by saying that. Just, it felt right. She told the man if her husband would have caught him, he'd be dead. She held him on ground at gunpoint until the police arrived. The mainstream media ignored this arrest, ignored it because, number 1, she had a gun, and number 2, it showed that arson starts fires, not Mother Nature, as Nancy Pelosi says. Mother Nature is angry. She said that. Mother Nature is angry. Give me a friggin' break. So someone was in the car with this woman when she came upon the guy who had matches, and he was filming. She put a gun on him, and he immediately complied. Not a shot was fired. The presence of a gun, let me tell you this. If you don't know about guns, you're nervous about guns, the presence of a gun can save a life. Could save your life, your spouse's, your parents, your children, your grandchildren. The presence of it. You may need to use it at some point, hopefully never. But the mere presence can halt a crime like that. So, she gets out of the car, puts the gun on him, tells him to get down on the floor. Now, she's referring to the ground. When she says the floor, the ground is a dirt road on her property. Listen to this. I love this. Again, not a shot was fired.
Get on the floor! Get on the floor, lay down! Lay down! What are you doing in my property?
Passing through, I didn't know what property.
Did you light anything on fire?
No, ma'am.
What are you doing with those matches on your head?
I smoke.
You smoke? Where are your fucking cigarettes?
You don't want to have is matches right now.
Did you light anything up on fire?
No.
What's your name?
Corey Allen.
Yeah. He was just as docile as a kitten. Once that, what would have happened had she not had a gun? What would have happened? Who knows? Who knows? Having the upper hand is a good thing. Now, is a gun always going to be the game changer? Probably not. This is life. This is life. Life isn't fair. For everybody who thinks life has got to be fair, everybody's got to get a participation trophy. I've got news for you. Life isn't fair. Utopia is not possible. People are going to succeed. People are going to fail. To suggest otherwise is just plain dumb. That's how we become better people. We win, we lose. You become better by losing. This is another problem with academia. Nobody can lose. Oh, no, we can't let them lose. We got to give them a trophy, too. Why? Why? Oh, because it's so sad. Can't see them lose. Losers eventually become big winners. Losers who are regarded as winners never get any better, never improve, because you've already told them they're a winner. Even though they lost, you've told them they won anyway. Why do they need to get better? They're going to get a trophy regardless. 11:20 right now. And this is a great piece by the Hodge twins. I've got a lot of audio for you today. I love the audio. Anything that can expound on what we talk about, that can highlight what we talk about and put it in more perspective and call out some of the evil voices out there who people hold in high regard, sadly. I am all for it. I know I am not the be-all and end-all. I know there are voices that can speak to truth better than I can, and I have no problem letting them be heard. The Hodge twins are two of them in our Black Voices Matter series. These guys are not only great Americans and freedom-loving patriots, they are funny. Yeah. I love that. Okay, so Trevor Noah, immigrant, right? Trevor Noah, the very unfunny host of The Daily Show. He is really not funny. Nobody on late night's funny anyway anymore. Nobody. There is nobody. You got Stephen Colbert, you got Jimmy Fallon, you got Jimmy Kimmel. They aren't funny. Who watches these guys? It's like watching MSNBC or CNN. At least I can laugh at those two outlets because they're trying to be serious, and that in and of itself is funny. So, Trevor Noah, gender reveal, wildfires, and the Hodge twins. What could be a better combination? Keith and Kevin back with a great piece making fun of woke virtue signaler Trevor Noah. Now listen, they'll take him apart here. Now when it gets to the part where Noah is talking about gender reveals and fire damage, he is referring to an incident that took place in California recently. A family did a gender reveal. Now we know the tinderbox that California is and has been with drought conditions, tinderbox. So despite all that, this family decided to do a gender reveal using fireworks. And no, it didn't end well. They did end up starting a fire. But that's just an aside to give you perspective when Trevor Noah starts talking about gender reveals and fire. Here are the Hodge twins. And this is just awesome. Yeah.
Let's start the show. Man, we got a damn good show for y'all today, man. Damn good show. I think this is going to be one of the best. Trevor Noah. That's a big time star right there. It's from South Africa. Yeah. He's an immigrant. Showing how unracist this country is. He came here for a better life and now he's a superstar. Yeah. He's living the American dream. Yeah. But Trevor Noah living proof that this country's ain't racist. But Trevor Noah, I'm confused. Everybody else, I'm going to confuse y'all too. Check this video out.
But guys, this has to stop, right? Or at least if you insist on a gender reveal, you should do something that helps the situation. The water's pink. It's a girl. And aside from all the damage it can cause, celebrating a baby's genitalia is starting to feel very outdated. Like, given everything we're learning about gender reveal parties should only happen when the child is old enough to know their actual gender and to pitch in some cash for the fire damage. And honestly, I don't even know why we need gender reveal parties. You know what we do need, though? Race reveal parties.
A bombshell confession from an African-American history professor at George Washington University who claims ties to the Bronx. Jessica Krug revealed in a blog post that she is a white Jewish woman who has been pretending to be black for years.
She feigned being black and Latina. Now a white woman is saying that she is canceling herself, revealing decades of deception. Krug has been teaching African culture and history at the school since 2012, often posting as Puerto Rican. The 38-year-old born to white
white parents and raised in suburban Kansas, is seen here addressing the New York City Council in June.
Thank you. Much power to all my siblings who were standing up, my black and brown siblings.
Crew is apologizing and says her whole life has been based on a lie.
Okay, first of all, you can't say your life was based on a lie when you're the one who made up the lie. That's not how it works. Your life is only based on a lie when someone else told you the lie.
Trevor, I'm lost.
Yeah, I'm way.
It's a lie if you pick your own race.
Yeah.
But it's not a lie if you pick your own damn gender. Hey, Trevor, who's writing the rules, man? Who the hell's writing your jokes? Yeah. You got these two jokes back to back. Yeah. I mean, right now, you look like the joke. Next time you do your show, make sure you proofread and read the jokes. Because you're the one that's going to look like an ass. I mean, look, you say gender is outdated. You know what's outdated?
What's outdated?
Black people saying they're oppressed. That's outdated. We got rights now. It's 2020. Gender outdated?
That's a good one right there.
No, man. Gender's outdated. Look, gender gives the parent structure. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough decision. I know when the kid comes out and you see a penis, like, what should I do? Look, Trevor, ain't you glad when you were born, your parents made that tough decision to call you a boy? Because you know why? You got a chode between your legs. A South African chode. I mean, just imagine if they didn't know what to raise you as, boy or girl. They could have sent you to school in a dress one day with some Jordans, the next day in a tutu with some flip-flops. Yeah, gender gives the parent structure. Yeah. I mean, how else are they going to dress you? Yeah, they're going to be confused. Now, I'm all for people when they grow up. Yeah. When they become adults. Yeah. It's like, you know what? I have a chode between my legs and I'm a man. There's too many chodes in this video. I got a penis between my legs. Just go with science up until you. I'm just saying, well, let me finish. Stop cutting me off. I understand some dudes grow up, women, they grow up. Let's say he's got a penis and he says, you know what? I'm not a man no more. Yeah. I'm not going to look at science. I'm just going to use my imagination going forward. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll call you whatever you want to be called. You want to be called Shakita, Kendra, whatever your name is. They, I'll call you all that. You know why? Because we're tolerant. Yeah, of other people's lifestyles. I'm tolerant, but you say it's dangerous to look between your kids' legs and no, ain't nothing dangerous about a gender reveal party. I mean, you said it was dangerous. It could cause a lot of harm, but what harm? The baby's not even born yet. What if you everybody I mean, that's a small percentage of the population that decides when they get older, they want to live their life as the other. Yeah, and now you want to do that for everybody? 99 entire population. Yeah, 99% of all people they want to be what they are between their legs. You know what I mean? So why are you going to apply that to everybody? Yeah, and why are you making this gender such a difficult issue? It's very simple. Yeah, it's based on science. Yeah, I mean, if you can pick your gender, you should be able to pick your race. I mean, like I could come out one day and say I identify as a white man from Little Rock, Arkansas, that loves country music and have strong conservative values. Yeah. If I can pick my gender, why can't I pick my race? Yeah. I mean, seriously, who the hell is writing these damn rules? You should look up the word hypocrisy, Trevor. Yeah. Because that video, there's all kinds of hypocrisy coming out your mouth. Let's make South Africans great again. Ain't you from South Africa? I want to make South Africans great again. Oh, Trevor, but you know what, Trevor? There's a savior on the horizon. It's protecting us from all this leftism. Yeah. All these lefty issues, these lefty ideologies. Trump 2020. Yeah. Put on.
All the people freaking out over the
All right, there we go. I don't know why that ended that way. Poorly edited. I'll take the blame. I'm not going to hide from that. 11:30 right now. Those are the Hodge twins. You check them out on social media. And they've also got a website. They're a team of they're bodybuilder comedians. They're very good. And they're great Americans. They're very, and you see all their videos. They have a collection of them on Facebook and Twitter too, probably. 621-9759, 621-9759, 441-6969 is the text line. You can also reach out to us on Facebook. We'll be right back.
AM 1160, WSKW.
Maine Voter Information Hotline, can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling about those ads running for Susan Collins, you know, the ones attacking Sarah Gideon.
Yes, ma'am. We've been getting a lot of calls about those.
Huh. Well, are they true? Like what they say about Sarah Gideon and taxes?
Well, it says here newspapers have been speaking out about those. The Portland Press Herald said the ads were largely out of context, and the Bangor Daily News said the ad misleads on Gideon's record of paying taxes.
Interesting. But is it true that Gideon raised taxes in Augusta?
No, ma'am. Says here Sarah Gideon helped lower taxes for the middle class, including sponsoring the first direct property tax relief bill to pass in many years.
I told Bert I remembered that. I should get him to call you.
I'll leave that to you, ma'am. We are pretty busy these days.
I can only imagine. Good luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm Sarah Gideon, running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sarah Gideon from Maine.
Enjoy the warmth and style of a Regency gas stove or fireplace from Somerset Stone & Stove. We've got an amazing selection to choose from with one that will look great in your home. Plus, huge savings of up to $760 during our fall sale. Get your Regency gas stove or fireplace installed at the lowest price. And don't forget, we also offer financing options on all our Regency stoves. Visit Somerset Stone & Stove, 1078 Kennedy Memorial Drive in Oakland. Online at somersetstoneandstove.com.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show.
Take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
M-O-O-D-Y. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
Feeling cooped up? Tired of looking at the same old stuff day after day? Now that we can finally get out and do a little shopping, why not head over to Town Line Antiques? At Town Line Antiques, there's 2 floors, 50 dealers, and thousands of items from throughout history. They've got vintage signs, furniture, classic electronics, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, and a lot more. Get away from it all. Go look to the past. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
For Freedom is back, powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Well. I need a massage therapist. I do. Man, it's been so long. My massage therapist used to be a woman named Andrea. She was awesome. I think she still does. She's a registered nurse now. She works at the hospital, and I think she still does some massage therapy. I really believe in 2 things. But before I was 40, there were 2 things I never really believed that much in that I believe wholeheartly in now. They are, actually, no, probably 45. No, maybe 40. I don't know. I'm not keeping track. Time flies. Massage and chiropractor. Chiropractic. Is that it? Chiropractic? Chiropractician? I don't know. But now I've done both. I've had both, and I believe in them both. A good massage can't do what a chiropractor can. But a chiropractor doesn't do what a massage therapist can do. Massage therapist is obviously much more muscular and relaxation, and a chiropractor is much more bone-oriented, spine-oriented. But they've both done wonders for me. I miss them both. I don't know why that came up, because as I'm coming back from the break, I just felt this need to bend down because I've had this thing in my back lately. It just really bothers me. Maybe I need both. Maybe I need a chiropractor and a massage therapist. I certainly need a massage after this show. I'm all tight. I'm all wound up. I'm all stove up, I tell you. 11:36 here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And boy, oh boy, the hatred for Trump, woo, it's at a fever pitch out there now. And where, and I'm talking hate in general, where the hate in general, and I don't mean to focus so much on the other side when it comes to bad things, but where does 99% of the hate come from? Left to right, not the other way around. At least not in real life. Maybe in politics it goes both ways. But most of the anger is on the left. Even among the Congress, you see it. Where is most of the hate? Where is most of the yelling, the screaming, the hatred from? It's from the left. It's from the AOCs, the Ilhan Omars. You see these women screaming all the time. Rashida Tlaib, impeach the mother effer. You see Chuck Schumer out there yelling on the steps of the Supreme Court. We're coming for you, Gorsuch. We're coming for you, Kavanaugh. That's a threat. You have Nancy Pelosi. They're yelling at conservatives, saying that they're starting fires because of their poor climate. Where is all the anger coming from? It's coming from the left. It's coming from academia. Academia is on fire with hatred. It's true. They are dangerous people just because of their ongoing rage. I mean, if you need any reason whatsoever to be armed, it's because of the leftist mobs and the rage they possess. They're dangerous. It's not the right gun, the conservative right-wing gun owners. We aren't dangerous. Far from it. We're the nicest people in the world, I guarantee it. I'm not trying to be funny by saying that. I'm serious. You think people in militias are well, for the most part, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. People in militias just want to be ready to be safe. In case a civil war breaks out, it's nice to have some organization, right? So, a Stockton University student is facing suspension. A Stockton University student, this is a college student facing suspension. What did he do? Did he come into a classroom waving a gun around? Did he come in with a machete threatening the professor? Nope. He included an image of President Trump on a Zoom conference call. These people are so out of their minds. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Remember the kid I was telling you about in Colorado last week? Kid who has ADHD. He was doing the remote learning. He had a toy gun, a colorful toy Nerf gun. He moved it from one side of his desk to the other. He just had to move. That's what ADHD kids do. I know. I've had one. He moved a toy gun across the screen in front of the camera. He was suspended. They called the cops to come to his house. Now, a picture of Donald Trump, an image of Donald Trump in a Zoom conference call has triggered Stockton University to suspend him. Oh, you think there's got to be more to the story? Well, listen. A representative from the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, FIRE, says the episode is part of a depressing trend of university students being punished for politically charged social media posts. This wasn't even a social media post. And it was, how's it politically charged if it's just a picture? I'm triggered by images of Joe Biden. It makes me all senile and stuff. Down. I turned the mic off. Sorry about that. My bad. Doctoral student Robert Dalida featured the Trump image as his screen background during a July 1st virtual class session. Several fellow students enrolled at the New Jersey College complained about the visuals in a private group me conversation following the session. We can't take it anymore. These are adults. These are freaking adults. Good grief. I would be so embarrassed to complain about something as petty and ignorant as that. Joe Biden, big deal. You got Bernie Sanders behind you. Good for you. Yeah, I think Bernie Sanders is a fool. I think he's an old coot. But God use him for a bit. What on earth is wrong? The doctoral student also shared a post on Facebook criticizing Black Lives Matter and saying he'd fight to the death to preserve the United States a la Patrick Henry. Well, the combination of events sparked a July 22nd Code of Conduct complaint about the bias incident filed by the university's Director of Care and Community Standards. Oh, yes, it's all about the community. We need to make sure the community feels safe. We can't trigger the community. Some students felt offended, disrespected, and taunted by the Trump imagery, according to the complaint report, which did not identify the complaining students. No! The unnamed students added that the Facebook post in question smacked of racism and potential violence. I don't think so. You know what smacks of potential violence? The violence. Well, there. And it's not students like this. It's actually BLM, who the student was criticizing. They're the ones who are causing the violence. But we've got to turn that around, and we've got to direct it at the student that put Trump on the screen because he triggered me, and I can't take it. I need lollipops and puppies and stuffed animals in a corner to curl up in the fetal position so I can cry. College students, adults. And this is what college does. College panders and caters and loves and kisses and hugs and strokes. Zach Greenberg, a fire program officer and author of a letter to the Stockton president, whose name is Harvey Kesselman, defended Dalida, saying university administrators asked intrusive political questions of the student in a July 10th interrogation. Dalida faces 6 charges. This guy, okay, all right. Now this has got to be a joke, right? He's facing charges because he put a picture of Trump and he put his opinions on Facebook. Oh, nobody ever puts opinions on Facebook. What are you, crazy? And a picture of, the picture of Trump. 6 charges. And if you're thinking about sending your kids to college, or you got grandkids and you're thinking about sending them to college, trade school, baby. Trade school or the school of hard knocks. It beats the hell out of a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year college education where they're going to come out much worse than they went in. So this guy from Fire goes on here. A university spokesman says Delaida's case remains open and no disciplinary action has been taken. For a university to threaten to derail his academic career is really antithetical to the university's mission statement, said Greenberg of FIRE, whose group defends the individual rights of students and faculty members at America's colleges and universities. This is quintessential political speech meriting the highest level of protection. Amen. But there is no free speech for the right in college. There's none. It's one-sided and unconstitutional, anti-American, unpatriotic, flies in the face of freedom. But they do it and they get away with it. Thank goodness for people like Greenberg. He says no university, faculty, or officials, to his knowledge, have rallied to Delaida's side during the situation because they're all, as we pointed out earlier, the ratio is like for liberal to conservative professors, 166 to 1. Well, that's a pretty stark contrast, wouldn't you say? That's your colleges and universities here in the United States. They're all statists, would-be statists. School officials have created a deeply embedded and systemic environment that squelches the free speech of those who disagree with their radical agenda, said the student, Delaida. Now, there's your systemic discrimination. You want to talk systemic discrimination? There's the definition. Okay? I just told you. Systemic discrimination. Colleges against free speech of conservatives. That is a systemic problem, and there is your definition. Delaide is not the only student risking punishment for his conservative views. No. Marquette University's Samantha Pfefferl, I don't know her name, Pfefferl? I don't know. Samantha Pfefferl, who is set to start a freshman year this fall, told the College Fix in June that her TikTok video supporting President Trump, just a video that she put on her TikTok supporting the president, nearly derailed her college dreams. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of any of this? This is rampant. But these are a couple of great examples right here of what goes on in academia. Maine not excluded. Amy Freed, University of Southern Maine, Michelle Malkin, deplorable. Conservative values shut down before they can even be heard. The social media clip that Samantha Pfefferl posted generated online hate and death threats because she supported President Trump. I aired the audio of it some time ago. It wasn't a bad video. She supported President Trump. She made no threats, but she in turn has gotten death threats. From where? From the left. I mean, watch your back. If you post anything on social media that's going to piss off a leftist, watch your back. Rage is the word. Rage is the word that you know, it's true. Anyway, so Marquette, the university, received hundreds of emails, social media messages, and formal bias incident reports from current students, alumni, and others regarding the incoming student social media posts and her comments on social media, which some deemed to be transphobic and racist language, according to Lynn Griffith, who told that to PolitiFact Wisconsin in an email. The university's Dean of Admissions, Brian Troyer, met with Samantha Pfefferl via Zoom. She later told radio show host Todd Starnes the university gave her morality tests. to see how she would engage fellow students of various backgrounds. Wow. Morality tests. How about that? So anyway, the school eventually paid Addison Barnes. Where did Addison Barnes come in? Is that a different one? Why am I getting this on my screen? Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah, Addison Barnes wore a Trump T-shirt. An Oregon high school student settled a lawsuit after his pro-border wall T-shirt sparked an uproar at his school. Addison Barnes got $25,000 in legal fees, and the school's principal wrote a formal apology. Yeah, they're dangerous. Two people, this is new, this is something else. This is outside of school. Two people have been accused of attacking a young boy for wearing a MAGA hat in Delaware. And they've been indicted on hate crime charges. One America's Grace Rust had a report on that. And here it is. Okay, here you go. Give this a listen. This is from One America News.
Justice is being served for a mother and her son allegedly attacked for their political beliefs. Reports say two women accused of attacking 7-year-old Riley Wigton for wearing a MAGA hat have been indicted for a hate crime based on a grand jury's decision Tuesday. The suspects, 21-year-olds Cameron Amy and Olivia Winslow, now face a slew of charges, including robbery, conspiracy, and offensive touching, in addition to the hate crime charge. Riley and his mother had been sitting outside of a restaurant waiting for a table following the Democrat National Convention when the two suspects approached them allegedly unprovoked.
My son and I were standing outside of a restaurant, and we were minding our own business. We weren't even paying attention to the women until they walked out of the doors and immediately started antagonizing my son, saying things like, "Be ashamed for having a mother like yours. She's a Trump supporter. You should just be ashamed of yourself," to my son.
The women were caught on camera aggressively ripping their anti-Biden posters and taking off with the boy's MAGA hat, which eventually led to an alleged assault on his mother and her friend.
That's somebody else's hat. Take the hat.
Attorney General Kathy Jennings said acting violently towards the child based on his beliefs goes against our founding principles and will not be tolerated. Meantime, his mother, who is seen in the video fearlessly defending her son, says her family is owed an apology.
The rage at seeing an opposing view, ripping signs, ripping hats away from children, stepping on children's hands as they go to get their hat off the floor. These things are acts of violence, and they have been fomented by the left and directly by Democrats and the individuals surrounding Joe Biden. And I believe that they owe my family and my son an apology.
President Trump caught wind of the incident and showered the young Trump supporter with a bundle of fresh Keep America Great gear last week, including his very own signed MAGA hat to replace the one stolen from him.
Good for him. Good for Donald Trump. Good for Donald Trump. Luckily, not all leftists are so far gone that they don't understand the importance of this election. This is from the other day. A black Trump supporter interviewed at the
Oh my gosh. Of course.
There you go. What more do you need to hear? I mean, true Americans. Not what we all are, should be. Lovers of America, lovers of freedom, lovers of democracy. I wish we could all get on the same page. I really do. Will it happen? Who knows? Who knows? Not a lot of time before we'll know, I'm afraid. I think this election is going to tell us everything we need to know about how enraged the left is. I hope I'm wrong about that. See you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Mike Violet is here at 6. Share the video, share the show, share the love, share the freedom. Share us, and thank you. I'm John James. This is your pep rally for freedom.
WSKW, AM 1160.
Are you a paramedic or emergency technician that takes immense pride in your career? Delta Ambulance is looking for you to join their team. They combine premium wages and a full benefits package with investment in their employees' growth, including exceptional training and tuition reimbursement. Helping others is why you're a paramedic or emergency tech. You deserve a company that proudly cares for you too. For more information, visit deltaambulance.org or call 861-4231. Delta Ambulance is an equal opportunity employer.
Our Medicare supplement and drug coverage is so expensive, we're barely keeping up with our bills.
My husband and I were in the same situation, so I got some help from the senior.
Hey there, if you're still hanging out on Facebook here, looks like we've still got some viewers left, at least on this page. I hadn't checked the other pages, but thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you'll share the video. All the videos stay here on social media. And so you can share them if you would like to. And I appreciate your time as always. I do. You want to private message me and send me some ideas? You have videos, you have sound I really need to hear and would want to get on. Send it to me. I would love to hear it. Have a great day. And I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, Lord willing. Bye.